we will see now the new chapter from your science textbook, that is separation of substance. Now, in our daily life, we come across the different substance. That substance are, if you see the substance, any substance, if you see chalk, chair, duster, so many substances are there. So each substance is made up of small particles. Each substance is made up of small particles. Now if you see this chalk with which I am writing, when I am writing, we can see the dust particles go. So they are made up of, every substance is made up of very small particles, and that small particles are called as molecules. That small particle of that substance is called as molecules, or every substance is made up of very small particles, and that particle is called as molecules. So every substance is made up of these small particles called as molecules. Now we will see the substance. There are two types of substance are there. Now if you take water, all of you are knowing. So if you see the water is made up of only one type of or one kind of particles. This water is made up of, or it consists of one type of particle, or the water contains only one type of particles. So the substance which is made up of only one type of particles are called as pure substance. The substance which is made up of only one type of particle or one kind of particle, they are called as pure substance. In short, if the substance is made up of only one type of material, then that material or that substance is called as pure substance. So you are familiar with the simple example, that is water. Water is made up of only one type of particle, so it is pure substance. Now, if we add the sugar to the water, if we take the glass of water and sugar is added to it, then in that mixture or in that substance, now there are two types of particles there. One is type of sugar particles are there, and water particles are there. So when we make the solution of, or when we take in the glass of water, we add the sugar or salt, then in that water there will be two types of particles, either sugar or salt and water. So this substance which we made or solution, that contains more than one type of particle. So the substance which contain more than type of particle means not it made up of only one type of particle. Such substances are called as mixtures. Such substances are called as mixture. So sugar dissolved in the water, salt dissolved in the water, all they are mixture. Now everyone, you are knowing that we are breathing the air every day, means all the time the human being is continuously breathing. So we take the air. So air is also nothing but it is the mixture. So the substance which made up of different types of particles or kind of particle, such substances are called as mixture. And those which are made up of only one type of particle, they are called as pure substance. So there are two types of substance we have studied. One is mixture and other is pure. So air is, in your everyday life example, that air is the mixture. You can tell other examples of so mixture that we will see when we are going further for this. So air is also a mixture, and it consists of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapor. All these are there in the air. So air is the mixture. Now mixture is consists of more either two or more than two substance. The mixture is consists of two or more than two substance. Means in some of now if you take the example of sugar and water, it contains only two substance, that sugar and water. But if we take the air, now air consists of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, hydrogen. So it has many. So the substance which contains two or more substance, they comes together or they join together without chemical action, without chemical reaction. The substance which made up of two or more than two substance without any chemical reaction. Now what chemical reaction in our, when we eat our food, the food is converted into the simpler form. So that is chemical reaction. So the substance, two or more substance that form without any chemical reaction, we know any chemical reaction take place, such type of substance are called as mixture. So the air is the example of this mixture. Then many of you are drinking the tea. So tea is also the type of mixture because it consists of milk, tea powder and sugar. So these substances are there, means either it consists of two or more than two, and without chemical reaction the substance form is called as mixture, and the substances in that mixture are called as components of the mixture. So mixture is the substance which is formed without any chemical reaction, that is called as mixture. In your everyday life, many mixtures you are finding. Air is the mixture, coffee is the mixture, tea is the mixture. Now we'll see what is the mixture and its components. So mixture is consists of the different components. Mixture is consists of different components, means different substance. Sometimes it is necessary or it is need to separate this. Sometimes it is need or it is necessary to separate these components of mixture. Means there will be some need that we have to separate the components of mixture from each other. So why we are separating? The first reason is that some unwanted substance are there. Means in the mixture, if some unwanted or harmful, which are not useful to us, so it is needed to separate that harmful substances or unwanted substances from this mixture, and then we will get the substance or the whatever we are getting that will be useful for us. So main thing to separate the components is either there are some harmful or unwanted substance that we have to remove from the mixture, and then we will get the substance which is useful to us. So main purpose of separating the components is to remove the harmful or unwanted substance from that mixture and to get the useful components to us. That is the main purpose behind the separation of this mixture of substance. Now there are different methods are there by which we can separate this mixture. Now suppose sea water is there. Now all of you have seen the sea. Sea water is there. So in sea water, if you taste, it tastes salty. Sea water tastes salty. Now why salty? Because the sea water contains the different salt. So if you want to separate the salt from the sea water, then the salt is dissolved in the water. So you have to choose such process that we can easily or economically we can remove the salt from sea water. So the method which we use for separating the mixture of the substance, it depends upon the properties of substance. Means the mixture has different substance, they have different properties. So according to the properties of that components, we have to select the separation process. So two things are there to choose the proper method to separate the substance of mixture, and second, the second thing is that which is unwanted or which is unused to us or which is not necessary for us, that components we have to remove from the mixture so that we can get the useful components. That is the main thing behind the separation of substance. Now we see the different methods which are used for separation of substance. Now methods of, next point is methods of separation. Now we study first the methods which is generally used for to remove the or to separate the solid substance. Means now we are seeing the methods which generally we use for separating the solid substance from the mixture. We are not going to see about the liquid. First we see about the methods of separation of substance which are in the solid form. Now first we see, now all of you are seeing that your mother spread dal or rice in a plate. You have observed at your house, your mother spread dal or rice on a plate, and she picks up from her hand, she picks up husk, then small stones and mud stones. All of you observe when you brought the rice or dal from the shop at your house, your mother will spread this dal or rice on a plate, and with her hand she picks up the husk, stones or small mud stones from this, so that these husk, stones, muds, they are solid, which are not useful to us, and so after removing that you will get the rice which is useful to us. So this type of method, this is the method where we are using our hands, means picking. So this method of separating the solid substance from the mixture is called as hand picking. This method of removing the solid substance is called as hand picking. So we can remove with our hands the husk, stones and muds and stones from the grains from the dal or rice. So such method is the first method is called as hand picking. By using our hands, we can remove the unwanted substance from the rice or dal or from the groundnut also, and you can get the pure substance there. So this is the first method that we call as hand picking. All of you are observing this at your house where your mother is doing this. Then we proceed to the second method of this. Now second method, see, fruit seller are there. When you go to the market, you are purchasing the fruits. So if you see the fruit seller, he is making the heaps of different, or if he is selling the orange or apples or mango, what he is doing when he is selling this, he make the heaps of or stack of the orange or apples. Some stack or some heap is they have small size. Some apples are of the big size. Some mangoes are small size. And so like that he is making the separation of that. And at the same time, which are the rotten fruits are there, that's also he removed. So which are of the good quality, which are the bigger size, that he sells with high price. Means suppose nowadays apples are coming, so which apples are big, they are very good, so he will sell with the high price, and those which are in size, in small, their appearance is not so much fresh or dull, so he can sell with it a less price. So this making the substance, making the fruits on their size means to separating the components on their size, their appearance, their shape, and their qualities. This we are doing by manually, means we are doing our with hand. So this type of the method of separating the substance is called as hand picking. So the process of removing or making the components with their size, with their appearance, with their shape and qualities. This type of method is also called as hand picking. So in hand picking is the manual process. In the manual process in which we can separate the components according to their size, their shape, their appearance and quality. So manual removing of the components based on size, shape, appearance and quality is called as hand picking. So this you have observed in the when you are going to market, you can see that apples, orange or mango, they are made in the separate groups according to their size, according to their shape, appearance, and those who are rotten they are removed from that, and this is all done with the hand, means with the manually. So this type of method is called as hand picking. So this is the first method of separation of substance, which we call as hand picking method. So this is very easy. In generally, all of you have done this when your mother or when you are bringing the vegetables, potato at the home. Then according to size, if anyone comes by mistake which is rotten, then you can throw it. So you are also doing this process at your home, and this method is called as hand picking, which is useful for the solid substance. Now we see the next method of this removal of or separation of solid substance. Now harvesting. So what is harvesting? The farmers take the crops in his land. So when crop grows and it comes, means it is ready. So collecting the crops, when crop grows in good condition and then afterward farmers collect the crops, this collecting the crops is called as harvesting. So it is nothing but when it grows very properly at the final stage, the farmer collect the crops. That process is called as harvesting. Now this harvesting includes the different process, which is the separation process that we'll see. So collecting the crops after growing it properly is called as harvesting. Now first method is in that harvesting, the first method is threshing. Now we see what is threshing. So when the crop grows, the stalks, the removal of grains. Crop grows means it is grain comes. So this removal of the grain from stalks, removal of the grains from stalks by beating stalks on hard surface. When crop grows and it grows, then removal of the grains, we remove the grains, whatever jawar, bajra or wheat, the removal of grains from stalks by beating stalks on hard surface. That process is called as threshing. In short, on the crops it is grows, but that grains are inside. So we take the stalks and by beating them hard on the hard surface, we can remove the grains from that stalks. That process is called as threshing. So it is nothing but the method of separation. So removal of the grains, whether it is bajra, whether it is maize, whether it is jawar, wheat, the removal of the grains from the stalks by beating stalks on a hard surface, that process is called as threshing. So this is the first method in harvesting, which you are collecting the crops. In that first we remove the grains from the stalk by beating the stalks on the hard surface. That process is called as threshing. Now next is after threshing. The first method is threshing. Now once you remove the grains from the crops, that removal of the grains from the stalk by beating the stalks very hard, that is called as threshing. But this is the manual process. The one more process is there, that we can spread these stalks of the crops on the hard surface and make the ox or donkeys. These stalks are spread on the hard surface, and these ox or donkeys, they are made to walk in the round on these stalks, and because of that, this grain will separate from these stalks. This is the one more method. One method is to beating the stalks. Otherwise, the other method is that which is used in the old days. The crops are spread on the hard surface in a circular manner, and then ox or bullocks or donkeys, they are allowed to make round walk on these stalks or on these crops. So by when they walk on these appropriately, or the grains will remove from that. So this is also nothing but it is the threshing process. Means grains are separated from the crops. In old days this method was used. So first method is that removing the grains from the crops. Now second is winnowing. In this process, the heavier components of the crops, means heavier grains, they are separated from the lighter components. Means the heavier grains, they are separated from the lighter components. Now how it is done, that I will see. The winnowing is the process in that the heavier components of the mixture are separated from the lighter components. Now this method is called as winnowing. The separation of heavier grains from the stalks and loosening the chaps from that is called as threshing. And winnowing is we are separating the heavier components from lighter components. Means heavier components will be separate as well as lighter components will be separate. That process is called as winnowing. Now how it is done? The man will stand on the height. The man will stand on the height, and the mixture which contains the grains as well as unwanted substance. So he will stand on the height and he will move this, means he will take the mixture and it will allow to fall on the ground. So due to the action of wind, the lighter particles like chaps, dry pieces, chaff, dry pieces, they are get away due to the wind. Means when the man is standing and pour the mixture, because of the wind, these small particles, means lighter particles, chaff or dry pieces, they move away. Means they will be, because of action of wind, they will go away and the grains will fall on the ground to make the heap there. So this process is called as winnowing. So this is the method where the man stands on the big height and he tries to pour the mixture. Because of the action of wind, the lighter particles like that chaff and dry pieces. If you see that wheat or jawar that is inside the covering, so that covering we remove, then the weeds come. So that is called as chaffs. So because of the action of wind, these chaffs and dry pieces are removed, which are lighter particles. They will blow away because of this wind, and the heavy grains which will fall on the ground and they will form the heap there. So in this way we can separate the grains from the chaff and dry pieces, which are lighter components and which are not useful to that. So in this process is called as winnowing. So the process in which the heavier grains are separating from the lighter components like chaff and dry pieces, that process is called as winnowing. And afterward, after separating this chaff is used as the fodder. This chaff can be used as the fodder to the cattle. Now, fodder means in Marathi we call it as ambod, means this is given to the cattle, and because of that their milk content, means the capacity of making the giving the milk is increased. So this chaff is, though it is not useful, but that is used by this uh, farmer for these cattle, and because of this their milk quantity increase. So this chaff is a good fodder for these animals. So in this way we are using the process, that is threshing and winnowing, in case of separating the grains from the crops. So threshing means to separate the heavier grains from the stalks by beating them hard, or otherwise they have the crops are make placed on the hard surface, on that ox or bullock or donkeys will walk on that, and because of that heavier grains will separate. Afterward, which are liquor components like chaff or dry pieces, that are to be removed from the grains and from the lighter component like chaff. So man will stand on the very high place and he will pour the mixture. So because of the action of wind, that chaff and dry pieces which are in that mixture, they are blown away by the wind, and the heavier grains will fall on the ground to form the heap. In this way we can separate the grains and chaff and dry pieces. The chaff are used by farmers as a fodder for the cattle. So this is the two methods of picking up the soil from the particles. So now we stop here. We have studied how to remove the solids from the mixture in case of the harvested crops. That is our separation of substance. Thank you.